On Majo TV News, Glo teams up with Ondo State to launch Digital Innovation Initiative. Diversion of local governments in Ondo, Halgan chairman counters colleague. Peter Obi to Tinubu, your vacation isn't more important than Nigerian protection duty. Beauty in the Motherland 2025 set for Lagos. Morocco becomes first African country to qualify for 2026 World Cup. ShopRite nears completion of African consolidation. Trump not optimistic about ending Ukraine war as he says Russia lost to deepest, darkest China. President Trump rebrands Pentagon. Welcome to today's news on Majo Television. I am Comfort or Osinnaike. The news in detail. The chairman of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, Honorable Dr. Gbenga Fashua, has firmly denied reports suggesting that funds meant for local government council are being diverted. Speaking at a press briefing in Akure earlier today, the chairman described the allegations made by a fellow ALGON member as a baseless, political motivated and designed to mislead the public. He emphasized that all 18 local governments in the state have continued to apply their monthly allocation transparently. According to him, money released to councils have been channeled into essential infrastructure projects, workers' salaries, and community development programs. He noted that independent audits and monitoring by the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs confirmed that financial accountability is intact. The chairman urged citizens to disregard what he called distraction politics and reaffirm the association's commitment to ensuring that grassroots governance remains people-oriented, transparent, and accountable. Nigeria's indigenous telecom giant, Globacom, has entered into a strategic partnership with the Ondo State government to drive a digital innovation initiative ahead at transforming the state into a hub of technology and creativity. The program unveiled in Akure will focus on digital skills, training for young people, e-governance tools for public service delivery, and the establishment of innovation hubs that can serve as incubation centers for startups. Globacom executives explained that the initiative is part of their broader corporate vision to bridge Nigeria's digital divide and empower the next generation of innovators. They noted that affordable internet services, when paired with state-backed innovation programs, could unlock thousands of jobs. The Ondo State government, represented at the launch, hailed the partnership as a bold step toward economic diversification, youth empowerment, and global competitiveness. Officials expressed optimism that the program will attract investors, boost entrepreneurship, and help place Ondo firmly on Nigeria's digital map. ShopRite Holding Limited, Africa's largest supermarket chain, says it is nearing the completion of its African consolidation strategy. The plan, which has been ongoing for several years, is aimed at streamlining operations across the continent, exiting unprofitable markets, and reinvesting the high-growth location. Analysts says this approach is designed to approach the company against inflationary pressures and rising operational costs in multiple African economies. Industry experts note that the consolidation is timely as consumer behavior across Africa is shifting toward affordable, quality, and accessible retail options. ShopRite says the strategy will enable it to improve supply chain efficiency, strengthen partnerships with local farmers and producers, and expand product variety. Shoppers are expected to see more digital-enabled services, loyalty programs, and enhanced store experiences as the company prepares for its next phase of growth. The 2023 Labour Market presidential candidate Peter Obi has criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for embarking on a vacation at a time of rising insecurity and economic hardship in the country. In a statement released earlier today, Obi argued that the president's constitutional duty to protect Nigeria must take precedence over any personal engagements. He said Nigerians expect their leader to be physically present and engaged and responsive during periods of crisis. Obi cited worsening cases of banditry, kidnapping, and inflation as clear signals that the country cannot afford a leadership gap. He urged the president to demonstrate empathy and responsibility by staying close to the people and addressing urgent national challenges. Political observers say Obi's remark highlights the growing public debate over governance style and accountability in Nigeria, while supporters of the president insist rest is essential for effective leadership. Critics argue that frequent travels sends the wrong signal to a nation in distress. The Beauty in the Motherland 2025 pageant set to hold in Lagos next year. Organizers reveal that this edition will be much more than a beauty contest. It is designed to celebrate Africa's cultural identity, creative industries, and the empowerment of women. Contestants draw from across the continent will showcase not only their elegance, but also their knowledge, skills, and contributions to community development. The event will include fashion exhibitions, cultural performances, and tourism showcases, with Lagos positioned as the ultimate backdrop for Africa's cultural renaissance. Stakeholders say the pageant has the potential to boost Nigeria's tourism healings, hospitality, industry, and creative economy. With Lagos already recognized as the continent's entertainment capital, the event is expected to attract international attention, celebrities, and investors. Morocco has become the first African nation to qualify for 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Atlas Lions secured their tickets after a decisive qualifying match that underscored their dominance in the pitch. This achievement builds on their historic 2022 World Cup run in Qatar, where they became the first African and Arab nation to reach the semi-finals.
Boufal and heads into the lower right corner, scoring Morocco's third goal. At 69, Hamza Igmain, on an individual run down the left, finishes accurately to extend the lead. At 84, Azzedine Ounahi scores from a free kick near the box, placing it into the top left corner, sealing a 5-0 victory for Morocco. With this win, Morocco remains unbeaten in the competition, solidifying their lead in Group E of the African.
Fans across Africa have hailed Morocco's qualification as a continental victory, symbolizing progress and resilience in African football. Analysts predict that the team will enter the 2026 World Cup in North America as one of the strongest African contenders, with expectations of the breaking more records. The Morocco Football Federation credited the qualification to long-term investments in grassroots football, improved facilities, and strong technical leadership. The US President Donald Trump has expressed skepticism about the prospect of ending the war in Ukraine. Speaking at a recent event, Trump claimed that Russia, once a formidable global power, has now been overshadowed by what he described as the deepest, darkest China. He suggested that Beijing's growing influence has complicated global diplomacy, making a resolution to the Ukraine conflict even more difficult.
Having a conversation with him very shortly, and I'll know pretty much what we're going to be doing. We've taken very strong action, as you know, And in other ways, we've taken very strong action. But I'll be speaking to him over the next few days, and we're going to see.
With who, sir?
I'm going to know exactly what's happening.
Mr. President,
I'm not happy with all the people. You got 7,819 people killed last week. Russian soldiers and Ukraine soldiers, right? Not American soldiers, not soldiers from Poland, but they're human beings, they're souls. They have parents, they wave goodbye to their parents, and their parents never see them again. That's the end of them. Over a stupid war, and I want to see it stopped.
Critics argue that Trump's remarks downplay the humanitarian crisis, widespread displacement, and ongoing diplomatic efforts to negotiate peace. Others say the comment reflects his worldview of shifting alliance where China's rise increasingly overshadows traditional powers.
Last night, you saw that, and I was the one that brought it up. I said, they're only doing this, they're looking to, when they did what they did, I thought it was a beautiful ceremony. I thought it was very, very impressive. But I understood the reason they were doing it, and they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. My relationship with all of them is very good. We're going to find out how good it is over the next week or two. I think that we helped China very much, as you know, when they talk about freedom. And I don't believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe that America, that the United States was acknowledged for helping China to gain its freedom. But perhaps that was just a sleight of hand. I mean, I was very surprised. I watched the speech last night. President Xi's a friend of mine, but I thought that the United States should have been mentioned last night during that speech because we helped China very, very much.
International analysts say the comments will likely fuel debates as the United States prepares for another electoral season with foreign policy and global stability high on the agenda. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order rebranding the Pentagon. The Department of Defense will now be referred to as the Department of War, reviving the name it held until 1949. The president says the change restores what he calls America's warrior spirit and rejects what he described as politically correct language. The Pentagon has already updated its website and titles, with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who now starred as Secretary of War. But the other has sparked confusion and criticism. Pentagon officials warned the rebranding could cost millions to implement worldwide, while opponents called it a political stunt that risks portraying the U.S. as unnecessarily aggressive. For now, the legal name remains Department of Defense, but in public, the Pentagon will operate under its newly revived identity, the Department of War. And that was the news on Majo Television. I am Comfort Osinnaike.